every now and then you shake hands. They're not looking at the ground, on a New York subway. I like the Midwest.
So you're going to move here soon is what it sounds like.
I might, but I have a kid here, so I got to figure out the logistics. It's a long commute.
That is a very long commute. Next door to Tia.
Next door to me. Okay, your shows. Do you still have tickets left, and how can people come check you out? What days are you?
Chicago Improv, Schaumburg, Illinois. Tomorrow, 2 shows, and Saturday, 2 shows. God bless, be there, and, if you don't, that's okay, too.
You were fun.
That was fun.
Next time we got to have you in studio.
I know. It's more fun in studio for sure. Dub, thank you so much.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you.
All right. See you soon. Well, that is it for Good Day Chicago. That's because The Loop is starting right now.
Thank you so much, ladies. Man, oh man, happy Thursday to you. It is Friday Eve, and what a treat on a Friday Eve. It is looking good out there. It is feeling good out there, and we've got a great forecast coming your way. Let's check in with Caitlin Cody, who's breaking it all down. Hey, it's just you and me today. Terrence has the day off. We're going to have some fun. Today, we are going to have nice weather. Small chance for a few sprinkles out there this afternoon, roughly between about noon and 4. But right now, it's perfect. We got blue sky, a few fair weather clouds, and the temperatures, they feel mild. It's 78 degrees outside, a light breeze coming in at 5 miles per hour. So around the area, we're seeing a good mix of the 70s, 77 at the lakefront, 79 in Gary, and 77 in Kankakee, 76 from Valpo to 74 in DeKalb. So temperatures feel good. We have beautiful blue sky, really no complaints, and most of you are going to stay dry. I mentioned that small chance for a sprinkle along a lake breeze, but behind me you can see our in-house model, Futurecast, not showing anything on our radar. So temperatures are going to be in the low 80s today, right where we should be. Heading on into this evening, quiet conditions, 6:15, just a few clouds around, temperatures ranging in the 70s. And then overnight tonight, mostly clear conditions, dropping down to the 50s and 60s. So tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. on your Friday, maybe need a sweater, as we could be around 59 degrees in DeKalb and Woodstock, low 60s in Waukegan. So for the kiddos out at the bus stop tomorrow morning, just like it has been all week, a little on the crispy side. But then as we head into the afternoon, highs are going to be back to the low 80s, and we don't have any rain in the forecast for your Friday. Saturday's looking good too. Dry skies are expected, but we have the chance for rain creeping back in for the second half of your weekend, especially Saturday night into early Sunday. The chance for showers and a few thunderstorms. And then again, Sunday night, the rain potential is back. And next week, we have some bumpy weather. We have the potential for on and off showers Monday through at least Wednesday of next week. But the temperatures are going to be toasty. I'll show you those in just a moment. First, though, let's focus on the short term because we're thinking about the weekend. So again, 20% chance for a few sprinkles today, especially near that lake breeze. Next couple of days, dry, quiet, comfortable. And then we have that long stretch of heat, upper 80s to about 90 expected Sunday through at least Wednesday of next week. Lauren. All right, we are hanging on to summer. Thank you so much, Caitlin. Chicago area nurses sounding the alarm about using AI in medical settings. Brittany Toulis is live at the Cook County Pension Fund downtown ahead of today's planned protest. Hey there, Brittany.
Hey, Lauren, I'm right here on West Madison in between Dearborn and Clark, and some of the nurses have already started showing up. I'll get out of the way so you can see. It's about a dozen right now. One of the members, though, telling me that they're expecting close to about 200, a little less than 200 to show up. And these nurses are a part of a national protest here. It's the National Nurses United. It's the largest registered nursing union in the country. But you may ask, why are nurses protesting software and AI? Well, it's 2 reasons. Palantir's ties to the federal government and its ties to the hospital industry. The NNU members are asking elected officials and hospitals to stop using what they're calling, quote, rushed, untested, and unregulated technology. Now let's start with Palantir's ties to the federal government, the company locking in multiple contracts between the Department of Defense and Department of Homeland Security. NNU concerns in part surrounding an app Palantir developed and operates called Elite, and it's used by ICE and Border Patrol. The NNU claiming the program identifies people for arrest using improperly obtained Medicaid data. The protest is said to represent approximately 500 babies and 6,000 children detained by ICE and Border Patrol since President Donald Trump's second term began. You may remember Operation Midway Blitz here in Chicago, that large-scale and controversial enforcement here. Part part of that nationwide enforcement. Now, when it comes to the hospital industry, the Nurses Union claims Palantir manages more than a fifth of U.S. hospital beds. The Hospital Corporation of America, now called the HCA Healthcare, is the nation's largest for-profit hospital group. It uses HCA Inspire, Palantir's software, for automated scheduling, and other hospitals, per the NNU, aren't as transparent on how Palantir is being used, but they are using it, and this all is raising concerns amongst nurses surrounding, staff and patient personal data and its access to that personal information. Now, earlier this morning, Fox 32 talked with Harry Moggins. He's the CEO of PrivacyBee, and here he is explaining more about their privacy concern claims. Just take a listen.
Business agreement that most hospitals have that gives them the right to share data with third-party vendors like Palantir, including all kinds of information on the employees, the actual nurses, the staffing setups, the shift schedules, the clock in and badge swipes, all kinds of data on the nurses themselves beyond all the patient data. Now, people often cite HIPAA as a law that protects healthcare related data, but HIPAA has more of a broad mandate than a lot of people realize. It is intended to protect healthcare data, but it can be used for, quote, medical operations or healthcare operations, which is a pretty broad term. And that's concerning to people, especially since the data, and Palantir says it's not shared. They do. But it can be something called de-identified, which is a fuzzy way of taking data that is clear, like your name, your date of birth, any actual data, running it through some kind of transformation, and then using it for other purposes.
And again, these protests are expected to start at noon right here outside of the Cook County Pension Building, but you can see there are people starting to gather right now at 11. And we've also reached out to Palantir to get their response to this protest, to the claims, and we have not heard back yet, Lauren, but we'll be out here waiting for this protest to officially get started, but I'll send it back to you for now.
Yeah, and an hour ahead of that protest, it's looking pretty busy out there, Brittany. One of the things that we've heard is that this makes the staffing crisis even worse. So what are you hearing about that?
Yeah, that's also one of the claims, is that using this AI software makes that nationwide staffing crisis amongst the nurses even worse. It's claiming that not only is it taking the job of the person just doing the scheduling, they're also claiming that the software doesn't really have that clinical judgment that people, just boots on the ground, people in the hospitals do. And it's also in charge of scheduling how many nurses are on a floor per shift tending to those patients. So that's also what they're claiming, is that software may not be staffing enough nurses, may not have that clinical judgment knowledge that the people do working in these hospitals to adequately staff those hospital floors. I'll send it back to you.
All right, Brittany, thank you so much. We'll check in with you in about an hour after that protest has started. Thanks again. Closing arguments have wrapped up in the murder trial for Lindsay Clancy. You probably already know, we've been talking about it for weeks now. She's the Massachusetts mom accused of murdering her 3 children before her attempted suicide. Her defense is not denying that she did it. So really what this whole trial comes down to is whether she was in the right mental state to know what she was doing. Right now it is jury instruction. So of course we are watching everything go down in the control room, and we'll keep you updated as soon as we hear anything more. We are again reminding you of a resource for you or someone you know as we're watching all of this go down. It's Postpartum Support International. We've got that number right there on your screen. You can call, you can text if you need help with mental health during or after pregnancy. We do want to hear from you about this. We want to know what you have to think. You've been listening here with us on and off for the last couple of weeks now, and I'm sure your timelines have been filled with commentary. I'm sure you have your own things to say, right? How do you think this one is going to go? What do you think the verdict is going to be? Send us your thoughts. We're seeing some of these results come in as we're speaking right here, right now. You can scan the QR code right here. I'll get out of the way. You can scan the QR code right there. You can visit fox32chicago.com/the-loop. Obviously, both of those on your screen right here. Right now, we have 100% saying hung jury, changing by the minute. Now it's split 1/3 of the way, all the way through. Guilty, not guilty, hung jury. So we're going to let some more votes trickle in here, and we'll come back to this poll a little bit later. Let's get to some other headlines that we're following today. A barber in Berwyn is left with a big cleanup and a huge setback after a break-in. So they just opened last week. Something like this, obviously never good, but the owner says, gosh, this really just couldn't be worse timing. They had just launched a new promotion for a $25 haircut Wednesdays, but the thieves stole all of their clippers. You see them making their way through right now. So that's got to be pushed back, that promotion that they were trying to run. So we are trying to get in touch with the owner. We're going to try to have that owner join us a little bit later in the show to talk about just how devastating this setback is. We're still following this breaking news, too. There's a fire burning near the North Avenue Bridge. This is near the Chicago River. I mean, check that out. You can just see that huge plume of black smoke. So we still don't know exactly what's going on. We still don't know exactly what's burning right here. We're working to figure that out. As soon as we have answers to that, we're going to update you when we get more. Something a little bit lighter now. We had a lot of heavy news at the top of the show. Let's bring a smile to your face, because K-pop fans, they are swarming Soldier Field here in Chicago. They got 2 nights of sold-out shows. So let's check in with our Gabby Primus live there now. Gabby, how's it going out there?
Lauren, I don't know if you've watched my coverage this morning. I want to make something clear that the line that you see behind me, the group of people, I mean thousands, they're not here to line up for the show at 8 p.m. tonight. They're lining up for merchandise, exclusive merchandise that they can get here. So they've been standing in line for hours, some since 5 in the morning. I wanted to take this full circle because we caught up with these two while they were in line early this morning. Now you guys have your merchandise. Holly and Hannah, you guys are coming from Indiana. What time did you get here, and was it worth it?
I got dropped off at 7, and then she went and parked the car. I actually thought what I wanted was going to be sold out. I thought I didn't get here early enough.
What? You got here at 7 o'clock? I guess I did talk to some who are here at like 5, so it makes sense. We need a haul. We need to see what you guys got. We can just do a couple of the highlights.
Suit.
This is
yes.
Okay.
And then I got the Chicago jersey because I have to represent.
Because it's only in Chicago that you can get this one.
Makes sense.
The hoodies. We have matching hoodies.
Okay, that has all the stops
really
on the tour.
Grab my jersey.
We should have had it ready, guys. Sorry.
The Jimin jersey, which she would have cried. We didn't get this.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, we have to make it clear because I've been asking people, okay, what's your bias? Because that's like who you prefer most. I'm waiting a little surprise over for you guys. So your bias is who? Jimin. Okay, is there a reason?
I don't know. He's like, that's just who grabbed my attention, and I've been stuck on him since 2018.
You know what's so cute is that everyone has their own little fun fact that they've been giving me about like their bias or like someone in the group. What's your like little fun fact? Oh, maybe the passport thing.
Oh yeah, the passports. So they are ambassadors for their country.
South Korea.
So they are representatives of their country rather than just like normal pop stars.
That is so sweet. Okay, Dee, I'm going to have you go directly behind you because I'm seeing is that a bride or just someone wearing a veil? And there's a cutout of someone. What is this?
That's Min Yoongi. There is a joke in BTS that's "Marry Me Yoongi." It's been going on for like 7 years, ever since somebody commented it in a live stream. And the members think it's the funniest thing ever.
Oh my gosh, you guys have all your little inside jokes. Also, someone explained to me that the freebies, it's not just bracelets like you would say, like a Taylor Swift band. It's like pretty much everything, right?
Oh yeah, everything. I mean
look at her.
Yeah, I got this stuff. Little face cards. Photo cards. Yeah.
Kiss him? Do I have to give him a kiss, or is it just? Am I going too far? Am I going too far?
Oh wait, I mean that's after you get married.
Oh, okay, that's true. Yeah, and I'm already married, so my husband isn't gonna like this. I'm gonna go, guys. So good seeing you. Congratulations on all your merch and stuff. Can I see it really quick? So what do? Just give him a hug? This isn't real. Don't worry. I'm already married.
What? And if it's not BTS, it don't count.
Oh, okay. Do we look cute, Lauren? Do we look like a good couple? I'm a BTS fan now, so I'm going to learn his name and I'll know who I got married to a little bit later.
We have a running joke that Yoongi marry me, but we can't marry the real one, so I got you this one. So I'll get you.
Just going around this morning and just going around to different people. Are you attending the concert tonight?
Not tonight.
You're not tomorrow night?
Yes.
How exciting. And you're not charging anything, you're just going around having fun.
It's free. Yes.
How cute. You guys, everywhere you look, I've said a lot. But it's just so sweet because they're giving out little bracelets. I mean, look how much stuff I was given this morning, Lauren. The concert is until 8 p.m. tonight. Of course, there's one tomorrow. It's sold out. I've been looking at StubHub every so often. I haven't probably looked in a couple hours. The most expensive I saw, that was like, what, secondary market? $2,200. The cheapest, I think, was $450-ish. Worth it? If you're this big of a fan, you've been this big of a fan since 2019, I think it is, right?
They've got some hits, Gabby. I wish that your boyfriend for the last, 30 seconds there, we know that you're married, but for the last 30 seconds, I wish that he could sing one of the hits, like Dynamite or Butter. I do love those songs.
Right? Lauren, can you believe this? He's already moved on. He's already moved on.
All right.
What is this? I'm done.
He probably thought you were busy with your job, and he's like, you know what? She's too busy for me.
Or maybe my real husband. Yeah, I get it.
We'll let you get back to it, Gabby. We'll check back in with you in a little bit. Thank you so much.
So cute.
All right, we want to talk about this. This is something that we have been talking about for a while now. And on a more serious note, Meta settled for $18 billion in their federal child safety trial. But what does that actually mean for children and their safety on the internet? So we have Nuala O'Connor, a tech safety and privacy expert, joining us now live to talk about it. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you.
Yeah. So the settlement, it does sound like it's a big deal, but which of these changes actually make the biggest difference for kids?
I think it's important to note that the biggest difference actually is that these are changes that affect kids 13 to 17. There were no rules in particular about users from 13 to 17, and they limit the time length that someone of that age can be on the platform. So 2 hours right now, it might even be lower if more companies sign on to the agreement. And it silences things overnight from 12 to 6 in the morning and during the school day, during the school year. So it really has a meaningful difference on how much interaction people under 18 will have with the platform.
And how do we know that these new safeguards are actually going to change behavior here rather than just kind of like giving parents a whole nother menu of things that they have to manage?
Well, the good news is these will be built into the platform automatically, and you'll have to change them if you don't want them for your kid. The bigger issue is how is the platform going to know that this is a child account? A lot of kids get on and give a false birth date. And so the company has committed to doing more to validate the actual identity of their users. I think it'll also have a real change for people who are just joining, kids who are just joining the platform in the future.
Yeah, because these kids see that and they're like, oh, I can just put in a different birthday, exactly like you said. Now, some of the changes that you mentioned, they do target features designed to keep kids scrolling. So how does this settlement essentially acknowledge that the way these platforms were built was part of the problem?
The real issue in the case was, are these addictive designs? Is this a product liability issue, essentially? And people are calling it the big tobacco moment for tech, and they're right, because some of the similar strategies from the attorneys general were used in these cases, including in the Illinois attorney general. The big change is that the algorithm does not change, but the length of time that a user can be online, and they'll get 15-minute warnings every reminder to say you've been on this length of time. The company's also committed to making changes to regulate information about that would promote bullying or eating disorders or self-harm or suicide, a real issue what our kids are seeing on the platforms.
Yeah, that's so important because they're seeing this stuff all of the time. They have it just at their fingertips. But when talking about responsibility here and pointing fingers, maybe everybody kind of has something different to say. So what do you think? How much responsibility here should fall on parents, and how much responsibility do you think should fall on the companies who are designing these products?
I'm a parent myself, 3 kids and 3 stepkids. We have been through every iteration of social media and the internet. And we do take responsibility in our own house to set limits and to take phones away overnight, no phones at the dinner table. We're setting a lot of rules and doing a lot of work ourselves, as parents should be. They're the ultimate decider about what their kids should be engaging with online, both content and timing. But the reality is the very design of the platforms is thought to be addictive. And that's a product design issue that really companies who know that they're doing that should be held responsible for. So at least it's a partnership at the very least. And at most, companies who are intentionally doing things to harm our children need to be held to account.
That was well said. I like the way you put that. Now, kids don't live on just Instagram and Facebook. There are so many platforms out there. So do you think that these stronger rules with Meta simply just kind of like push these kids to other apps?
There are two parts to that. First of all, a number of the attorney generals have already announced actions against TikTok and a number of other platforms. They're already reaching out to say, if you join these terms, this is what's going to apply to the whole industry. And also, what we really need are clear laws so that every new platform that is created is clear about what the rules are for this industry.
Now, this is a settlement. This is not federal law or anything like that. So what more do you think needs to happen here?
So Congress is already considering the Kids Online Safety Act. They've been considering privacy law for decades, frankly, but this would be targeted towards child use of the internet. Short of a federal law, this is going to be a case-by-case negotiation and conversation with these companies. What we really do need is a comprehensive, stable law that everyone knows how to apply.
And my last question for you, would love some advice here, for parents listening. What should parents do differently tonight? Like, if you can give them just one thing to do or one thing to check on their kid's phone, what would that be?
I always say go to the apps, go to the phone first and look at the apps they've got on their phone and look at the privacy settings. Are they open to being chatted with by strangers? Set those chat functions to private. And just most importantly, have a conversation with their kids about what they're seeing on a daily basis and check in with them to know how they're feeling about their online experience.
Yeah, that conversation is so important, and that's why we are going to continue the conversation here on The Loop. That is for sure. Nuala O'Connor, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
You bet. You bet. All right, you're watching The Loop. It is 11:21. We're going to take a quick break, but we got a lot more coming your way. Stay with us. Hey, welcome back. If you are joining us for just a couple of minutes, let's catch you up. Here are some of the headlines that we're following today. There are reports Iran's new supreme leader may have died from injuries during the strikes from the U.S. and Israel. But President Trump says he believes Mojtaba Khamenei is still alive. University of Chicago political science professor Paul Post spoke to us about what this means for negotiations.
The fact that the U.S. carried out those strikes, the fact that the U.S. has continued to conduct strikes against Iran has raised questions amongst the Iranian leadership about, can they even hold to any type of agreement? Can they even trust any type of agreement with the Trump administration?
Rescues continued today for the 1,300 people missing along the Nepal-China border after devastating flooding. More than 350 people already confirmed dead. Just take a look at this. I mean, and this is so heartbreaking to watch here. You can see people there running for their lives as floodwater takes them, buildings and bridges right out at noon. We're going to be talking to someone about how we can help from right here at home. Caitlin, it is just so hard to see this video over and over and over, especially considering we just have such nice weather here. It just doesn't seem fair.
It looks like a scary movie.
Yeah.
It didn't even look real.
Yeah.
Wild. Yeah, here locally, it's quiet. We've got blue sky, a few fair weather clouds that you saw from that live shot. Behind me, you can see how quiet it is from our regional standpoint. Northwest Indiana, you have a few more clouds than the rest of Chicagoland, but overall calling it mostly sunny today. 78 degrees is our temperature outside, so it feels perfect. Light breeze coming in right now at 5 miles per hour. I'm seeing an 80 pop up there in Joliet. The rest of us in the mid and upper 70s. It's 76 degrees from Merrillville to 79 in Gary, 76 from Woodstock to Waukegan. So again, feels good right now. High temperatures are only going to be reaching into the low 80s. Yesterday we pushed to the mid 80s, so just a little bit of relief from the heat, but still calling it summer-like warmth as we are right where we should be for this time of year. Small chance for a sprinkle this afternoon along a lake breeze, which by the way, that lake breeze keeping temperatures down near the lake in the mid 70s this afternoon. We'll take a look at your full forecast. If you think the low 80s is hot, wait till you see our extended outlook for our 10-day temperature outlook. That's coming up. Back to you.
All right, thank you so much, Caitlin. Jake is joining us now with the top entertainment headlines, as he always does. But man, Jake, we're starting with another loss out of Hollywood. This is tough.
Yeah, and this is someone who meant a lot to a lot of people, particularly early in our childhood. So actor Peter Cullen, the voice of Optimus Prime from Transformers, has died. Cullen was 85 years old. His agent says he died Wednesday at his Los Angeles home. Cause of death has not been revealed. Beyond Optimus Prime, Cullen voiced characters like Eeyore, Predator, and Carr from Knight Rider. His family says he passed peacefully, surrounded by loved ones. Next up, if you're excited for the upcoming Practical Magic sequel, I know a lot of people have been waiting for this movie. You're going to want to take a look at this. A movie-themed Airstream will actually be stopping at Edgewater Music Fest Saturday, August 29th. It'll be there from noon to 9 p.m. Fans 21 and older can enjoy complimentary Astral Midnight Margaritas, along with little tarot card readings, some photo opportunities, a little giveaway. Practical Magic 2, starring Sandra Bullock and Nicole Kidman, hits theaters on September 10th.
Sounds like a good time.
I feel like that's a movie. I know you haven't seen, you don't watch a lot of movies that come out. I feel like if you told me you had seen Practical Magic, that wouldn't surprise me.
No, I haven't. But with an evening like that stacked up, I might have
Here's
to.
what I'll tell you. I know a lot of people love watching it around the fall time, and there's a reason this is coming out in September. I know a lot of people are very excited.
I'll add it to the list.
Yeah. All right. Actor Bob Odenkirk coming home to Chicago. The actor will be in town for the Chicago International Film Festival for a very special screening of the new documentary Bob and David Climb Machu Picchu. The Chicago International Film Festival brings all kind of celebrities into town. It's usually the kickoff for a lot of movies' Oscar runs. The festival runs from October 14th through October 25th.
That's exciting. That's coming right up.
It's right there. It's right there. All right. Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
This is what I'm going to tell people is, in my personal opinion, the very best video you will see all day.
Ooh.
Nom 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 nom. Nom nom nom. Nom nom nom. Nom 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 nom. Nom nom nom. Nom nom nom. Nom 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 nom.
I hope that was just a little bit of a palate cleanser for your day. If you needed a restart, hopefully that gave you everything you needed. That's Harrison Ford. He recently took a little stroll down Sesame Street, and it turns out apparently Cookie Monster is a big fan. The two not only ate some cookies together, but you might have heard just a somewhat of a vaguely familiar theme while they were eating those cookies, which ironically is exactly how I eat my cookies.
Just like that?
I always
Do you want
hum
to demo it?
the Raiders March. I don't have any cookies.
Oh,
See?
we can fix
See
that.
how
If
I
our
gotta-
producers
Listen,
are
let's go.
listening.
Let's
we
go.
still have an hour and a half left of the loop. We can make it happen.
We can bake them. All right, finally, two-time Oscar winner Robert De Niro stars in the new thriller The Whisper Man. Starts streaming on Netflix tomorrow. I had the chance to chat with him just a couple of days ago about the film. But Lauren, before we really got into the movie, I wanted to finally, after I've been talking to this man for 20 years, and there's a thing I've always wanted to happen. And finally I said, you know what? I'm going to make this dream come true.
All right, let's.
Mr. De Niro, you and I have been having amazing conversations about your work for 20 years now. We go back to 2006 Good Shepherd. And there is this moment that I've always wanted to happen that's just never happened, and that's totally okay. But then I realized you are a brilliant actor. You can deliver a line better than anybody. So I thought to maybe make this moment happen, this moment that I have dreamed of my entire life, I wrote down the line and was just gonna see if you would deliver it and give me this moment that I have dreamed of.
Got a front row seat here.
Okay. Jake, we know each other a long time. Please, call me Bob.
Bob, I'd be honored. Look at that. I'm not gonna lie, it still doesn't feel right, but I've got it. I got that moment.
That's incredible.
I'm gonna go back to Mr. De Niro because my mother would kill me.
If you leave a door half open, soon you'll hear the whispers spoken. If your window's left unlatched, you'll hear him tapping at the glass. If you're lonely, sad, and blue, the Whisper Man will come for you.
It's a great story about what it means to be haunted, what it means to be followed by something years later. When the story begins, Whisper Man is long gone, he's locked up, but you're still followed by what happened. And you've told me in the past, you're not really someone that brings your characters home, that allows them to follow. But of all the roles you've played, which one, however you want to interpret the word, haunted you or stayed with you or followed you, maybe not years, but a little bit longer than it normally does?
Well, the only thing I would say is if you're involved in a certain thing and you really, really have to be consistent in the performance, obviously, and everything you can bring. You're coming home, you got the big scene tomorrow. You think about that and how you're doing it and so on. There could be a, I don't know if you call it a residual sort of thing. In my case, I just would be, it's just natural, more quiet, come home, go to bed, get up early, work on the scene, and get ready and come and do it. There are things that can spill into your personal life in terms of the way the character's thinking, this and that, to a degree, but that's not my experience, that literal way of doing it.
What you were describing, was there one that did that when you talked about it seeping into your personal life?
Not in my experience. There could be other actors who it could very well be, but not in mine.
He's alive. That's the most important thing. Yeah, but
is there anything else you want to say, dear Daddy?
You know, I often say that horror films have the power to change people's behavior, and Iris and I watched that together. Obviously, we have a little boy on the way, and like kind of instantly in the back of my mind, I thought, this kid's never going outside.
Change your perspective,
It is a movie that is all about you know, fathers and sons and parents and children and the terrors that are out there beyond and inside your house. And De Niro absolutely crushes it. Mr. De Niro, who even though he did technically give me permission, I don't think I can ever bring myself to call him Bob.
How did it feel the first time that you got to say that? You've been wanting to do that for decades.
I have. My favorite part of that moment was just how much of a good sport he is. You know, like he is one of the greatest. I mean, listen, a legit conversation about the Mount Rushmore of actors, De Niro's name comes up.
Oh, yeah.
And the fact that he's willing to just sort of, at this point, he's in his 80s, the fact that he still is willing to just kind of joke around a little bit. And afterwards, as I was leaving the room, he signed a great Taxi Driver poster for me and wrote a little thing about our son on the way. And he's just such a great sport. And like, that was, to me, that was the cool. It was less about the Bob-ness of it and more about the fact that he was willing to play along.
So next time you see him,
I'm going back to Mr. In fact, as I was leaving, I referred to him as Mr. De Niro, and he goes, Bob. And so, I told Tia this. I interviewed Sir Anthony Hopkins, of course, the great, Hannibal Lecter, who told me one time to call him Tony, and I said, no, not doing that.
It sends a shiver down your spine.
Can't do it.
Can't do it.
Can't do it. I don't know. I think it's my upbringing, or I don't know what it is, but can't do it. So.
We can't shorten your name anymore, Jake. Like,
yeah, exactly. I mean, everyone calls me Jake.
That they can call you?
Well, I mean, my actual name's Jacob, so I mean, everyone's been calling me my nickname anyway. So, yeah, that's everyone. Everyone gets the pass.
All right.
right, well, Jake, thank you so much for being
Scafidi,
here.
good to see you. Yeah.
We'll be right back.
Well, welcome back to The Loop. This is breaking right now. The Lindsay Clancy case is officially in the hands of the jury. We are on verdict watch as they deliberate. The jurors were given instructions that include the option of not guilty by insanity, guilty of first-degree murder, second-degree murder, and manslaughter. She's got one count for each child, Cora, Dawson, and Callan. We'll keep you posted. CPD is partnering with a local church to rename a street. It's in honor of a retired bomb tech who was shot and killed. Larry Newman was 73 years old. The shooting happened in West Garfield Park back in 2024, just steps away from Newman's home. The FAA is investigating another plane tire blowout at O'Hare International Airport. Now, if this sounds familiar, it's the 5th time that this has happened in the last month. This time, an American Airlines plane blew 2 tires while taxiing before takeoff. No one was hurt. People in Streeterville are worried after spotting a coyote. Take a look at that. It was just roaming around Lakeshore Park. Now, this one was spotted between 10 and 11 at night. So just a good reminder here, keep your pets on a leash, especially at night. And let's keep it with the animals here. A snow leopard, Ozzy, at Lincoln Park Zoo has died. Ozzy is the resident male of the pair at Pepper Family Wildlife Center. The zoo said that he died after his health kind of started going downhill, but they didn't specify exactly what happened here. Ozzy was born in 2018 in New York, but hey, he's been in Chicago since 2021. So sad. He is so beautiful, Caitlin, isn't he?
So how old? He was a baby. He was still a baby. I wonder how long they live for.
I don't know. That's a good question. I'll look it up.
They're the cutest animals.
So gorgeous, so stunning.
Yes, beautiful. Just like our day today. Look at this. Live look outside. We've got blue sky. We have a few fair weather clouds. Today is going to be a quiet day. We could see a few sprinkles develop along a lake breeze, but outside of that, quiet conditions. 78 degrees outside. North breeze, 5 miles per hour. We are going to be seeing temperatures cooler near the lake as that breeze develops. But right now, we've got the upper 70s all the way to the lakefront. It's 78 degrees there, 79 in Gary, 80 in Joliet, and 79 in Morris. Highs today will be in the low 80s. Here's your day planner. Again, the chance for a few sprinkles, especially this afternoon until about 4 p.m. We have that chance for some light rain. This evening, quiet, 6 p.m., 79 degrees, still feeling good with quiet conditions. Here's our futurecast, though. Our model is not showing any rain out there, but don't be surprised if along that breeze we do have a few sprinkles develop, as mentioned. And then tonight will be calm and quiet, cool, down to the 50s and 60s tonight into early tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday. It's going to be a a beautiful day. Dry skies, sunshine, back to the low 80s, but the upper 80s are back for the second half of the weekend into most of next week, along with the chance for rain. I'll show you that on your full 7-day forecast ahead. Back to you.
And Caitlin, I did a little bit of Googling. It looks like in the wild, they live about 10 years in captivity. Could be up to 20.
Okay, so he was a baby for captivity, but wild, he would be about
Right, exactly. Oh, Ozzy.
Love
so
him.
Sweet. All right, Caitlin, thank you so much. We're talking to Tia now. Tia just got here talking about what you're working on today.
Yeah, so today we're working on a story involving a non-for-profit group called Save Our City, Save Our Future, and we talk about how a lot of young people in our community don't have anything to do. We're on the job skills programs, and this is one of those programs that actually puts young folks to work ages 16 to 24 in all kinds of jobs. Construction, HVAC, do you want to potentially be a realtor? And they walk them through all of these different processes literally on the job. So you're literally getting on the job training, often paid anywhere from 16 to about 18 bucks an hour to do these jobs. And it is a state funded non-for-profit. They get funding from the state, not all state funding, but they do get a majority of their funding from the state. And sadly, they said that their funding has been cut. And so yesterday was the final day that a lot of these young people will be on the job. So now those young people are scrambling, trying to figure out what they will do next. This put them, for example, I interviewed a guy yesterday. His name was Cornelius Harris. He always wanted to do construction, but had never had a construction job because oftentimes you have to have licensing, et cetera. So they found him kind of like this entry-level job where you didn't need any of that stuff yet, to see if this was something that he wanted to do as a career opportunity and something he wanted to do for the rest of his life. And so he got hands-on, really redoing. They took this building, they paired up with this business owner who wanted to redo this entire building. They started to do the work alongside some of these people that already have the skill. That's how they learned the trade. They helped them get licensing to do it, pay for the licensing. No barriers in terms of transportation. They make sure you get to the job site. And now that's going away. So Cornelius is out there looking for a job to replace, this kind of job where you're getting the experience, you're getting the trade, you're getting, some of the certification to be able to go and do it. And so we got to reach out to the state on this one to see, because from what we've been told, this has been other organizations that will be impacted by this too. This is a ripple effect of the funding not being there, not just this particular nonprofit. So we're going to do some of the background work today to figure out where the issue lies if the state didn't get funding from someplace else. And so now they just don't have it. Is it a budget shortfall? All of those things we'll be getting those answers today.
It really is a shame because you talk about this experience, this hands-on work that truly is invaluable for any kid. But then when you're also getting paid on top of it, I mean, that's huge.
And especially the pay that we're talking, and you're working with people that know the job, right? So you're also getting a mentor as well. And oftentimes the ideal person in this program is anywhere from 16 to 24 years old. Some who have been in trouble in the past, some who have been, maybe they didn't want to go to college and really didn't see what the next opportunity would be for them. In one case, another person we interviewed, his name was DeJalen, I believe is how you pronounce it. He said that in his case, he didn't really know where he wanted to go.
A lot of 16-year-olds don't.
Yeah, he didn't know what he wanted to do after high school. He knew he wanted to do something working with his hands. And so being able to have this experience, he's now launched, which I thought was really incredible, his own landscaping business as a result of having this opportunity. And so the program would normally keep going. It wouldn't be done this soon. They usually take a cohort of a certain amount of people every few months, but they wouldn't be cut this short. And sadly, they are. It would usually go into March, but now they had to cut it short yesterday. So we talked to, the people that are behind the nonprofit, 2 people that were working there as well. And so now we just got to get some additional answers. So.
Yeah. And some of these kids may have been relying on that money too.
They were.
I mean, you're banking on having that, and then all of a sudden it just kind of gets taken away from you.
Yeah, and now you got to figure out financially, your next move. So the good thing is some of the sites that they've been working at have promised them, opportunities. It may be unclear when some of those opportunities will start, but have promised them opportunities coming up here in the future. So let's hope that works out so they'll be able to use some of that training to use, because right now they haven't been able to use the training beyond, you know, what they've been doing, what they've been learning. And so, yeah, and to have some of this, these things paid for example, if you decided in this program you wanted to be a realtor, they walk you through the process of signing up, pay for the fees for you to go through the classes. And for some people, that is a barrier, right? You may not have the $600 to be able to do that. And so that barrier is now erased because of this program. And so now what is really the question. So.
Looking forward to seeing what to find out, Tia. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lauren.
We'll see you at 4, 5, and 9.
Yep, you got it.
We're going to take a quick break right here on The Loop. We'll be right back. Welcome back to The Loop. If you're joining us for just a couple of minutes, I got you. Let me catch you up. One person is in the hospital after a crash involving 2 semi-trucks. It was on Route 41. This happened early this morning near MLK Drive in North Chicago. It looks like one of the semis rear-ended the other. We're working to find out more about the person who was hurt. NIPSCO has restored almost all power outages following the storms earlier this month at last check. Still, though, a little more than 200 customers in the dark. It has been 2 weeks and 2 days since those storms, and in that time, we've actually learned that NIPSCO has requested 3 different rate hikes. Governor Mike Braun has since ordered an investigation into the company's preparation and response to these storms. A man accused of sexually assaulting a woman along a popular trail in Elmhurst is facing charges. Police arrested 39-year-old Mario Ocampo. He allegedly attacked a woman while she was running on the Illinois Prairie Path about a week ago. It is 11:47, and let's take you outside for a look. Ooh, the clouds look pretty. Everything that I'm seeing outside looks pretty today, Caitlin. I love it.
I'm glad you said that, because I was about to ask to wipe this off and put up the bean shot, because this one is a little bit ominous looking, but from this picture,
there are all the people enjoying
a completely different day. Yeah. Bright and beautiful. So we do have a few clouds out there, yes, but that's really what it looks like for most of us in Chicagoland. Bright blue sky, a few clouds. Temperatures today will be in the low 80s as our high. We have the chance for a few sprinkles along a lake breeze that is expected to develop, but our 70 forecast has temperatures in the low 80s over the next 2 days with dry skies. Chance for rain back again Saturday night into early Sunday, and then again Sunday night, the chance for rain. Next week, some bumpy weather, on and off showers expected Monday through Wednesday, but highs are going to be in the upper 80s Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So it's going to be toasty, and I promised to show you this, our temperature outlook, our extended outlook. So this is indicating that we do expect above normal temperatures from September 2nd through the 6th. Let's push it even further. If I go to the next graphic, the 4th through the 10th, still leaning warmer than normal. So I don't want you to marry yourself to these numbers, but I do want to show you that our extended outlook here does have very toasty temperatures as we head on into the rest of this week, next week, and even the following weekend. Yeah, we're holding on to that summer heat. Back to you.
I'd like to marry him, though, Caitlin. They look good. Thank you so much. September is right around the corner, and September is Suicide Prevention Month. Our most vulnerable groups, at least one of them, veterans. Liz is here to have an interview about this very important topic. Liz.
Yeah, let's do it. So on average, I was really shocked by this number here. 17 veterans die by suicide every day. So the Wounded Warrior Project is using this month to really push their efforts when it comes to ending veteran suicide. So joining us to talk about this, Shante Franco, an Army veteran and warrior, and Lindsay Gray, the Suicide Prevention Manager with the Wounded Warrior Project. Thank you so much, both of you, for being with us this afternoon.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
So let's first talk about the risk of suicide in veterans. We're talking about an important population. I was reading that military vets face a rate of suicide about 1.5 times higher than the rest of us. Why is that?
Yeah, I think, this is a complicated answer, but what we see or what we are hearing most often is ultimately that transition out of the military is an increasingly vulnerable period of time. And we believe or hear that part of that is just a profound loss of community, loss of identity, loss of purpose, loss of mission, right? So I'm in this position now where I wake up every day and I don't really know who to reach out to. I don't really know what my day should look like, and I might not have a sense of purpose, and that can be super overwhelming to people and lead to lots of feelings of kind of worthlessness or helplessness.
That is a really scary position to be in, it sounds like. And I want to talk a little bit about what the Wounded Warrior Project is doing to try and stop these veteran suicides, or at least decrease the number, to keep some of these vulnerable people safe. What is going on?
Yeah, I mean, we're trying to get to people as soon or as early as we can, right? And we're doing that through a couple of things. So one is raising awareness about the scope of the problem and trying to reduce the stigma around help-seeking behavior in particular. Connecting through action. So, right, serving warriors, their families members, and caregivers through programs and services that we know not only reduce risk factors, so things like chronic pain or poor sleep, but also help promote protective factors and things that can help keep people safer from suicide. So things like a sense of connection or community to peers. And lastly, really through advocacy efforts. So at the national level, amplifying the voice of our alumni to advocate for their needs, whether that is access to care or just finding ways to remove barriers to care.
And Shante, I want to talk to you here because we introduced you. We introduced you as a warrior and a veteran. Can you talk a little bit? By the way, thank you for your service and for everything you've done. But can you talk a little bit about your personal story?
Yes. So I survived 2 suicide attempts. And the first one, I was actually active duty. And both of them are similar in the fact that I isolated myself. I did not have connection, and I did not feel that I was in community. And what we know now is that connection really does save. And being in community is a preventative measure when it comes to suicide. And so that is what I now advocate for, is connection and community.
And first off, I appreciate you telling this story because this is not easy, I'm sure, to talk about. And here you are doing it in front of, an audience. So thank you, first off, for doing that. But also, how are you doing today? Like, how would you compare right now versus before?
To be perfectly candid, I take each day by that day.
There are days where it's amazing and I just love life. And then there are those days where the intrusive thoughts are in my head and I have to challenge them. And the easiest way that I know how to challenge them is to stay in community. I reach out to my peers. I talk to my husband. I am struggling well. And while that may sound as that is not a great thing to struggle well, when I put it into perspective of I couldn't leave my house, I couldn't leave my bed, even though I love my children and I love my husband, I couldn't see a future. So from that to struggling well, I'll take it.
Yeah.
I'll take it. And every day it does get better.
I can't imagine. It's breaking my heart that you are feeling this way or you have felt this way, especially after you serving your country and feeling so lost. And so again, I'm so grateful that you're here telling this story, because I feel like there might be people watching that probably feel the same. So I want you to talk to those people out there. If someone is struggling, what would you say to them right now?
Well, first and foremost, I know from experience and also with talking to other veterans that was in that position, when you're in crisis, you don't hear much. So what I would say to those that know that they need help is lean on the connections that you have. The people that have been checking in, lean on them. There's an amazing community with Wounded Warrior Project, and there's so many services that I encourage everyone, every service member, to join and take advantage of those services, because you're not alone, and it does feel like you are alone. It absolutely does.
And I want to piggyback off of that, because, when we talk about community, when we talk about what the Wounded Warrior Project is doing, it is going to take community, Lindsay. So I want to ask you about some of those red flags that we might see in our loved ones that we need to pay attention to and address when we think there's an issue.
Yeah, we very much believe that everybody has a role to play. Everybody's going to see a little bit of a different side of a person's life. And so it's hard because it's sometimes nuanced. Suicide is really complex, and so these warning signs might look or sound really different depending on who the person is that's thinking about it. But we know it's sometimes really subtle changes that we need to pay attention to. So being aware when there might be changes in sleep or appetite or mood or behaviors. Maybe we notice this person is taking risk where they might not normally, or they're withdrawing from people around them. They're not engaging in the activities that maybe they used to enjoy. Those sometimes subtle changes are what we just have to start paying attention to and being curious about, right? Hey, I've noticed this has changed. How are you?
Mm-hmm. And I do have to ask, like Shantae, sometimes I get nervous to ask people, hey, are you okay? I don't want to butt into people's lives, but I feel like that's probably something that you would have appreciated hearing from someone.
Absolutely. I will say there was a moment that I was contemplating committing suicide again, and I was asked directly, are you planning on committing suicide? And that was so jarring to me, because I was not expecting the unspoken to be spoken. And it created this pause in my head, and then I said yes. And it was almost like that question gave me the permission to say yes. And I know the other person was scared to ask that question, because what if I say the wrong thing? Or what if I open this can of worms, but I'm not equipped to deal with it? Mm-hmm. But I appreciated that they did, because it opened up a door, and it made me realize, okay, other people see me, and now I can start looking for help.
Oh, I love how you said that. Other people see me. I feel like everyone just wants to feel seen, really, at the end of the day. Lindsay, how can people get involved if they're watching this interview right now?
Yeah, well, I think if you want to know more about what we're doing, visiting us at woundedwarriorproject.org/prevent suicide is a great place to start. But I think, again, everybody has a role to play here. And so our challenge to you is just be intentional and curious about what's happening in people's lives. To your point, it's not intrusive to say, how are you really doing with things? But if you're asking that question, be prepared for the answer, right? And to Shantae's point, right, if suicide is something that you're concerned about, ask directly when you can.
Shantae, appreciate you for telling that story. I know how vulnerable and crazy that might, I can't imagine coming on here and just being so vulnerable to tell that story. But what you're talking about is so important, because I feel like you're speaking to a lot of people who might need to hear this right now. And also for Lindsay, everything you're doing with the Wounded Warrior Project to hopefully get this number from 17 to 0, that would be amazing to see. Thank you, ladies, so much for being with us. Truly appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
So again, I also looked up, by the way, if you or maybe a veteran you know is in crisis, there is support available. You can reach the Veterans Crisis Line by dialing 988 and then you press 1, or you can just text. You text the number 838-255, but that's like 24/7 help, support. Someone is there because, like they said, it's about the community, right? It's about knowing that you're not alone. And I think that's the number one thing, is that we're never alone.
Never alone. That was such a powerful interview, Liz. Thank you so much. It's important that we think about them, heading into September and really year round.
Yeah. And oh man, I hope someone seeing that can get help and just move in the right direction.
Thank you, Liz.
Thank you.
We're going to take a breath. We're going to take a quick break right here on The Loop, and we'll be back in just a couple minutes. All right, guys, welcome back. Thank you so much for hanging out with us for the first hour of The Loop. But we've got one more hour to go. We are keeping you in the loop for a whole nother hour on the other side of the break. thank you so much for being here. You are watching The Loop. We always love these 2 hours that we get to spend with you. So whether you are just joining us or you've been here since 11, let's talk about some of the stories that we're following today. That rally against the use of AI in our hospitals getting started here now. Brittany is going to join us in just a little bit with more on those who are protesting. Thanks so much for being here for hour 2 of The Loop. We've got a lot of headlines to get to. We're also talking weather, the gorgeous day that we have ahead of us, and the lunar eclipse that we're expecting a little bit later tonight. Although, Caitlin, I hope that I'm sleeping. I hope that I'm dreaming when this happens.
Just set your alarm. And then you can go outside. I'm just kidding. Don't set your alarm.
And I'll go right back to sleep.
Mike Kaplan will be out there taking photos for all of us, so we don't have to get up at 11 and then go back down to sleep.
Shout out, Mike.
I know. Yeah, he's dedicated. Today, it is going to be beautiful. You can see these live shots, how the sky is blue. We've got a few fair weather clouds. We have a lake breeze developing, though, as the day progresses. So you might see a sprinkle out there, especially between about 1 p.m. and 4 p.m. We have the chance for some rain, but so far so good. And most of you are going to miss out on any wet weather today altogether. And tonight, mostly clear skies will be back. So let's talk about this lunar eclipse that's on the way. So roughly 94 to 96% of the moon is going to be in Earth's shadow. So that disk will be in Earth's shadow. So we're all going to be able to see it. And for Chicago, if you're thinking timeline wise, maybe you stay up till 10 at night usually. Well, it's going to start around 9:30. So 9:30, you're going to start to see it get darker. You can see that shadow, and we might even see the moon almost look a bit orange as it moves through. And then the peak is going to be at 11:12 p.m., but it's going to run all the way through until about 1 in the morning. So if you just want to lay out on top of your car or something, I'm thinking the truck maybe if you live out in the country. That's what I imagine. That would be the best thing to do. No glasses needed. You don't need to protect your eyes. You can just watch it. It'll be a sight to see tonight for sure, especially since it's going to be mostly clear. But temperatures are actually going to be dropping down into the 50s and 60s tonight. So make sure tomorrow it is going to be a cool, crisp start so you're prepared and those kiddos are ready for it at the bus stop. Let's take a look at our satellite radar. We have seen these clouds bubbling out there, and I do see some specks of green, although I do expect that we are going to have mostly dry skies. Again, it's not out of the question that you see some sprinkles out there. 79 degrees is the temperature with that northwest breeze around 5 to 10 miles per hour. Temperatures are in the low 80s from Joliet at 80 degrees to 81 in Gary. I do expect highs to be in the low 80s, and once that lake breeze develops, cooler temperatures will be near the lake from the lakefront to Gary and Waukegan. Our day planner has temperatures reaching the low 80s as our high today, which is where we should be for this time of year. We have a huge warm up coming, though, for the second half of the weekend through next week, upper 80s, flirting with 90. So we are leaning into that summer feel next week. But in the meantime, the next couple of days, low 80s are expected. Lauren.
Thank you so much, Caitlin. Chicago area nurses sounding the alarm about using AI in medical settings. Brittany Toulis is live at the Cook County Pension Fund downtown with the protest that started just a couple minutes ago. Hey, Brittany.
And once the street's secure.
Yeah, hey, Lauren, I'm sure you could hear it behind me. They have someone speaking on the loudspeaker right now, but people are giving out literature like this. You can see this is what they're chanting right now, Purge Palantir. They're about to start walking out into the street here as well. We're right on Madison Avenue in between Clark and Dearborn. And the group is walking out into the street right now. This is where their protest is going to be, in the middle of the street. And you can hear them. They're protesting Palantir. These people are part of the National Nurses United. It's the largest registered nursing union here in the country. And you may be asking, why are they protesting software? Well, it's for two reasons. One, Palantir's ties to the federal government. The other, it's ties to the hospital industry. Now, these nurses, this protest is asking elected officials and hospitals to stop using what they're calling a, quote, rushed, untested, and unregulated technology. We're going to start with the government ties reason for this protest. The company locking in multiple contracts between the Department of Defense and Department of Homeland Security. The NNU concerns in part surrounding an app Palantir developed and operates called Elite. It's used by ICE and Border Patrol. The NNU claiming the program identifies people for arrest using improperly obtained Medicaid data. And this is what they said they were going to do down here on the floor. These shoes, this is representing what they say 500 babies and 6,000 children detained by ICE and Border Patrol since President Donald Trump's second term began. And you'll remember here in Chicago was the center of Operation Midway Blitz, a very controversial and large-scale enforcement of that immigration policy. Now let's switch to the hospital industry reasons. The nurses union claiming Palantir manages more than a fifth of all U.S. hospital beds. The Hospital Corporation of America, now called the HCA Healthcare, is the nation's largest for-profit hospital group, and it uses Palantir software for automated scheduling. Other hospitals, per the NNU, also use Palantir software, but they are not as transparent on how Palantir is being used, and it's raising questions surrounding staff and patient personal data. We talked with one of the nurses who are out here protesting right now. She says one company with hands in data for both healthcare systems and government systems has patients too scared to come for care. Fox 32 also talked with Harry Mugen, CEO of Privacy Bee, and has more on these NNU claims and concerns about privacy. Take a listen.
Our focus is on patient care, right? And so we want our patients to be able to come to the hospital and get the care that they need. That's our number one concern. And if ICE is going to be able to collude with our hospitals and be able to strip information from Inspire or Timpani or any of these kind of free-for-all information systems that they have access to, it scares people to be able to come into the hospital to get the care that they need. We have people that are missing dialysis appointments, that are not going for colonoscopies, that are not going for preventative care, that aren't managing their diabetes because they're afraid that they're going to get kidnapped and deported.
Palantir is a private company, so there is limited visibility into what they're doing. Now, this is the same company that has contracts with the federal government, with ICE, with some very politically sensitive parts of our government. So whenever you have the same company with the same hardware and servers that's sharing, badge swipes and performance reviews from nurses and patient data in the same place as immigration type, intelligence and data and other very sensitive contracts, it makes people concerned.
And we did reach out for Palantir for a response to these claims, and they did get back to us saying, in part, quote, Palantir is a software company, not a data company. The claims made at these protests are baseless. For over 20 years, and across 5 administrations of both political parties, Palantir software has helped the U.S. government improve workflows and minimize mistakes, protecting our troops, defending our national security, and improving public health. In the private sector, our work in hospitals around the country saves lives, reducing sepsis deaths, and placing patients into hospital beds faster and improving workflows for healthcare workers. So that is Palantir's response. But you can see this wide protest here. If you also look, you can see some of these pictures that people have. There's also some letters. These are said to be from kids in ICE detention. If you also look at the umbrellas, you can see eyeballs all over. It's kind of giving that big brother watchful eye, always being watched effect. That's also kind of what they're saying, that Palantir is just very insidious within a lot of systems without people knowing. So that is why they have a lot of eyes on those umbrellas as well. But you can see it's a very impassionate and large group behind me, completely shutting down Madison Avenue, guys. I'll send it back to you for now.
And Brittany, I know it's really loud where you're at, but if you can hear, why did they choose this location rather than somewhere else?
Now, I also had that question because you would think nurses would want to protest in front of a hospital. But this has to do with pensions because we are in front of the pension fund building. So for county nurses, the nurse you heard from is a Stroger nurse. That's a county hospital. For county nurses and just county employees, there is about $28 million of pension funds invested into Palantir. And I got this information from the nurse you just heard from. She says that, they didn't have any input on where their pension money is being invested to. And that's another concern they have, that their pension money is being invested into this company, a company that they say does not align with their values. That's why we're out here in front of the pension building, Lauren. I'll send it back to you.
All right, Brittany, thank you so much for breaking that down. Keep us posted about what's going on over there. K-pop fans swarming to Soldier Field. BTS's world tour is here in Chicago for 2 nights of sold-out shows. Gabriella Primus was out there today to talk with all of the fans just waiting to get merch.
I said it so much today. It's just cute being here. Okay, I want to make something clear. The big line that you're seeing in front of Soldier Field this morning / this afternoon, it's not necessarily to wait to get into Soldier Field to be on barricade with BTS or right up front. This is just for merchandise. That tells you what kind of cult following they have. They call themselves the Army. And you guys, they blinged me up. I have all these cute little freebies, but I had to take it to the next step, right? We have to see what actual merchandise we're talking about. So I have Grace and Delaney here. Okay, you guys are from Minnesota, Wisconsin. How excited are you for tonight?
I'm really excited. This is my second time seeing them, so...
Oh my God.
This is my first time. I am like over the moon. I'm so excited.
Okay, I finally get to see the merch. The line pretty much was just moving. Can I see what you guys were able to get? Okay, cute. A little sweatshirt.
Zip up hoodies.
All right, zip up hoodies.
Yes, I got the charcoal. You got the
I got the gray. This is the back of it.
Super cute.
Very cute. Okay, you guys gonna be wearing that around and a little t-shirt too.
Yes, and then we got the same t-shirt.
We got the same t-shirt. We're
Because
twinning.
why not? You have to be friends.
Why not?
Can I ask you guys this? Because I haven't been able to chat with anyone about these freebies. I know that Taylor Swift kind of fans do kind of a similar thing. Is this just K-pop kind of like freebie or tradition? What would you say?
They take it to another level. Like they make everything. They crochet stuff. They're making like tickets. They're making bracelets. They're making jewelry. They're making hats. They're making shoelaces. They're making everything and like just handing it out just for free, just to like get people pumped, to get them excited. And it's just so like it's so nice of them.
What's so special about these 7 guys that has people waiting literally like 5 city blocks just for their merchandise?
I think a part of it is just how authentic their music is. Because majority of the music that they've created is by all of them. Like, they don't really have outside people coming in and writing songs or composing them at all.
They're just cute. It seems like they just all like bring their own little vibe to the group. All right, you guys have so much fun at this show. Thank you for showing off your stuff. I appreciate it. And I'll let you go. I'll let you go. Guys, 8 p.m. is when the concert starts, so a lot of people are going to be leaving. They're going to their hotel room, spending a little time, chilling out, and then coming back. I met folks from Canada, Wisconsin, from New York City, you name it. They're all here. No wonder it's sold out, and I look forward to you guys pitching in for a ticket for me. I'll send it back to you.
All right. Thank you so much, Gabby. Gosh, so crowded and it's still 8 hours away. We want to get to some breaking news. The Indiana governor signing a disaster declaration right now for those deadly storms that hit the state more than 2 weeks ago. That was back on August 11th. So as soon as we see the governor, we're going to take a live listen in right here on The Loop. But just wanted to let you know that was going down here soon. All right, we're going to take a quick break right here on The Loop, and we'll be back in just a couple minutes. Hey, welcome back. Let's loop you in on some headlines that we're following today. A barber in Berwyn is left with a big cleanup and a huge setback after this break-in that you're seeing right here. Oh my gosh, they just opened last week. And, you know, timing for something like this, of course, it's never good, but the owner says this couldn't be worse. They had just launched a new promotion for $25 haircut Wednesdays, but the thieves stole all of their clippers. You see them in action right there. So that promotion has got to be pushed back. The Lindsay Clancy case is officially in the hands of the jury. We are now on verdict watch as they deliberate. The jurors were given instructions that include the option of not guilty by insanity, guilty of first-degree murder, second-degree murder, and manslaughter. She's got one count for each child, Cora, Dawson, and Callan. We do want to hear from you about this. You know, of course, you've been listening here with us on and off for the last couple of weeks since this trial as we've been dipping in and out of it. And, you know, I'm sure your social media timelines have been just filled with commentary. How do you think this one's going to go? What do you think the verdict is going to be? Send us your thoughts. You can scan the QR code right there. Visit fox32chicago.com/the-loop. That's another way to vote here. Those are both on your screen. Either one will take you to the right poll. But right now, as people are voting and things are changing as we're watching, it looks like the majority of people, 45%, say that they think that she's going to be guilty. About a quarter of people saying not guilty, and almost a third of people saying hung jury. So keep on voting, and we'll check back in on that poll in a little bit. Some other headlines. One person is in the hospital after a crash involving two semi-trucks. It was on Route 41. This happened early this morning near MLK Drive in North Chicago. It looks like one of the semis rear-ended the other. We're working to find out more about the person who was hurt. And let's get a check of our weather with meteorologist Caitlin Cody, tracking what's going on out there. It's looking good. Some clouds, but really feeling nice out there.
Oh, beautiful. Perfect. Happy Thursday, everybody. It's going to be a quiet day. I don't see very many people out at the beach. A couple. But that camera, it's shaking. But it's not too windy outside. I always say that camera's on a noodle because I feel like it's always just bouncing around. But this live shot really paints the picture of what it is outside. It's gorgeous. We have a few clouds, yes, and the chance for a few sprinkles out there along a lake breeze. But overall, it's going to be a really nice day, and those clouds are going to help you out. Get a break from the sunshine here and there. 79 degrees is the temperature. Winds coming in around 5 to 10 miles per hour. But comparing yesterday to today, we're actually just a smidge cooler for most spots. This is our 24-hour temperature change. Remember yesterday, we reached the mid-80s. Today, I expect to be in the low 80s inland and even the 70s as we work our way into the afternoon. A few temperature drops at the lakefront down to the mid-70s. But right now, we are 2 degrees colder than we were compared to yesterday at this time, as well as at Midway. 3 degrees cooler in Aurora, 4-degree drop there at LaSalle, 6 degrees cooler in Kankakee. You're probably going to feel the difference there. But all of us are enjoying a nice early afternoon, seeing a range of the 70s, almost 80, 79 degrees at O'Hare as well as the lakefront. 78 in Chicago Heights and 77 in Valpo. I see a 79 in Morris. So you get the picture. We're right around 80 degrees. Feels good, looks great, just a few clouds. Here's our futurecast, which does not show any rain, but the radar has shown some speckles of green. So again, if you're outside, don't be surprised if you see some sprinkles. That's all it's going to be until about 4 p.m. And then this evening, things will be quiet and dry. Few clouds around, temperatures ranging in the 70s. We'll take a look at your full 70 forecast ahead. Lauren.
All right, thank you so much, Caitlin. Restrictions, both locally and federally, have eased when it comes to research for psychedelic drugs and how they can be used for certain mental health conditions. So what does that look like moving forward? Well, we've got Dr. Alan Davis joining us live, a psychologist who studies the effects of treating certain conditions with psychedelics. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
So we hear a lot about psychedelics being a potential breakthrough for PTSD, depression, addiction, things like that. How strong is the evidence right now? Like, is the hype, do you think, getting ahead of the science in areas?
I would say that the hype is pretty close to where the science is at right now. Of course, there's a lot of people out there who are searching for alternatives to treat their mental health conditions, and psychedelics seem to be offering a new opportunity to help them meet those needs. We recently completed a trial of psilocybin, which is magic mushrooms, for the treatment of PTSD in veterans, and we found that 75% of them were in complete remission from their PTSD after the treatment. So the evidence is compelling and suggests that there's going to hopefully be a lot of people helped by this treatment.
Yeah, so kind of explain what this looks like. What does this psychedelic assisted therapy look like actually for a patient? Now, I know it's a long process, so let's talk about that first appointment, taking the drug, and then the follow-up that comes afterwards.
This treatment follows 3 phases. The first phase is a period of preparation therapy where the individual is meeting with trained therapists who know how to help prepare them for this type of experience. And following that, we enter into a drug administration phase where they're given typically 1 to maybe up to 3 doses of a psychedelic drug like psilocybin. And then following that, there's a period of integration therapy where they're taking whatever they've learned and the type of experience that they had in the psychedelic session, and they're building that into their day-to-day life. And this whole treatment package seems to be what explains how people might be getting better.
Yeah, so clearly, I mean, a lot goes into this whole entire thing besides just taking the drug. So talk a little bit more about how much of the benefit comes from the drug itself versus all of the therapy, the preparation, the controlled environment surrounding the experience. I mean, the whole thing.
Well, this is one of the most pressing questions scientifically that we have in this field right now. In our recent study with veterans with PTSD, we found that they started to experience improvement in their PTSD symptoms just as a function of the therapy itself, but that the psychedelic catalyzed a deeper reduction in their symptoms following the package of treatment. So it seems to be really both phases contribute to the improvement.
Can you talk about the science a little bit more? Like what's actually happening in the brain during a psychedelic experience that could potentially help someone that hasn't responded to those kind of traditional treatments?
Well, you might, if you know someone who's struggling with mental health, what you might have learned about that is that often people can feel stuck. They can feel stuck in patterns that might be challenging for them, behaviors that maybe are difficult for them to break out of. Psychedelics seem to offer a new opportunity to have different parts of the brain communicating with one another. Often people describe learning something new about themselves or understanding how they got to be where they are currently in their life, which provides a new opportunity to change something, to do something different, to be something different. And that new window of change opportunity is what we think unfolds in the weeks to months after they have these experiences.
So we've talked a lot about the good and the benefit, but with everything, there's also a risk. Can you talk about, 1, who's not a good candidate for this, and 2, what are some of the risks or potential harms that can possibly get overlooked and stuff like this?
Well, much of the research that's been completed has been done on folks who have what is largely considered treatment-resistant conditions, meaning they've tried other treatments, they've tried medications and psychotherapy, and it hasn't been helpful for them. And what that means is that what we don't know is it going to work for everyone with depression or PTSD, or is it really for those who have tried everything else and are kind of at a last resort? What we know about the risks are that there are largely minimal side effects, typically related to things like headache or maybe a little bit of mild anxiety during the session. Often those remit or reduce really quickly after the psychedelic session is over. As far as we know, there are no long-term risks, but of course the science is still relatively new and more work will need to be done to understand the durability of these effects and whether there's any long-term harms.
All right. Well, Dr. Davis, thank you so much for joining us today. Really appreciate your time here on The Loop.
Thank you.
Yeah, you bet. Want to keep it here with veterans because September is Suicide Prevention Month, and when it comes to suicide, military veterans are some of the most vulnerable. So we brought Liz Dewicki in to talk about this. Liz, you just talked to the Wounded Warrior Project about this really powerful interview that you had.
Yeah, it was really interesting here to not only hear from the Wounded Warrior Project, but from a veteran who was on the brink as well. So listen to this. On average, 17 veterans die every day by suicide. Those are alarming numbers. We spoke with the Wounded Warrior Project about what they're trying to do to change that heartbreaking stat, and also why veterans are just more vulnerable to suicide than the rest of us.
You know, this is a complicated answer, but what we see or what we are hearing most often is ultimately that transition out of the military is an increasingly vulnerable period of time. And we believe or hear that part of that is just a profound loss of community, loss of identity, loss of purpose, loss of mission, right? So I'm in this position now where I wake up every day and I don't really know who to reach out to. I don't really know what my day should look like, and I might not have a sense of purpose, and that can be super overwhelming to people and lead to lots of feelings of kind of worthlessness or helplessness.
First and foremost, I know from experience and also with talking to other veterans that was in that position, when you're in crisis, you don't hear much. So what I would say to those that know that they need help is lean on the connections that you have. The people that have been checking in, lean on them. There's an amazing community with Wounded Warrior Project, and there's so many services that I encourage everyone, every service member to join and take advantage of those services, because you're not alone, and it does feel like you are alone. It absolutely does.
Yeah, so Lindsay says, look for those red flags in your loved ones. Warning signs can differ a little bit from person to person, but be aware of things like changes in sleep, appetite, mood, behavior. The Wounded Warrior Project, though, just trying to raise awareness about this and serve veterans through, their different programs. The big focus was really on community and reducing the stigma around seeking help. But it was nice to hear, community matters. And this was part of, Shantae was just talking about how that was a major part of her getting help and, not taking her life, which is really, really sad when you think about how 17 veterans a day are doing just that.
Oh, it's just awful, Liz. It breaks your heart. She was talking about leaning on people that you know. And for people who maybe don't have someone, there are so many resources that people can take advantage of. Let's talk about some of those if you can.
Yeah, let's do that, because it's true. I mean, we just want you to know that you're not alone. If you are a veteran, maybe you're in crisis, maybe you know someone who is in crisis, support is available. Just know that. You can reach the Veterans Crisis Line by dialing 988 and then pressing 1, I should say. Also, you can text 838-255. You can also learn more on what Wounded Warrior Project is doing at woundedwarriorproject.org. But, it's okay to check in on your friends and say, hey, are you really okay? Like, I'm a little worried about you. I always worry about, being in people's business too much, but sometimes we need that.
That one conversation, that one question that you ask can really be everything here. It is so important, especially for our heroes, our veterans.
10,000%. And they deserve the very best. I mean, they've served our country. They sacrificed, they put their lives on the line. They deserve that from us at the very least.
At the very least, yeah. Liz, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to take a quick break right here on The Loop. We will be back in just a couple minutes. Welcome back. It is 12:33, and we are taking a live look outside on just a gorgeous Thursday. You guys, it's Friday Eve. As Liz was walking out of here, I said, I'll see you when it's Friday. We are so close to the end of the week, and so many people just soaking up the sun out there, enjoying the nice weather. And I really appreciate that it was so nice this morning when I left my house. The last couple of days, Caitlin and I have had to put on a little jacket, little hoodie, you know, getting out the door in the morning, which is fine. But my goodness, I was glad to ditch that this morning. I didn't need it.
Oh, good.
It was nice this morning.
Which, by the way, if you missed the top of the show, a lunar eclipse is happening tonight.
Yes, that too.
Super exciting. I know it's a school night, but to Lauren's point, it's Friday Eve, so maybe we could stay out a little bit later. It's going to start right around 9:30, peaking around just after 11 p.m. So it is a bit late, but it's going to be a beautiful night for it. Right now, it's gorgeous. You saw blue sky, a few clouds, 79 degrees, northwest breeze, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Temperatures today are going to be in the low 80s as our high with a lake breeze that's going to be developing, and that's going to be dropping our temperatures near the lake down to the mid 70s. Right now, though, 80 at the lakefront, downright summer outside, 80 degrees in Morris, 81 at LaSalle. We are holding on to this heat, not only today, but we are cranking up that dial on Sunday into next week. The upper 80s are expected, but for today, a little bit cooler than we were yesterday. Highs, as mentioned, peaking in the low 80s with those partly cloudy skies. Now, we could see a touch of drizzle along that lake breeze that we expect to develop, so don't be surprised if you're driving along and you have to use your windshield wiper, or if you see some sprinkles when you're walking. But most of us are going to be dry today, and by this evening, it's going to be quiet. Look at that. The clouds clear out just in time for us to see that lunar eclipse, and that's going to carry us into the beginning of tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, a little on the cool side, most of us in the 60s, so make sure you grab your sweater, as Lauren was saying, early in the day, especially for kids. Make sure that they are prepared for the cool. I know during the afternoon, they're going to be dropping that jacket or sweater, but at least in the morning, give them a little something extra. And then we get on into your Friday night and Saturday. Saturday is going to be dry. The chance for rain is back Saturday night, along with a few rumbles, especially north of the city. That's going to carry us into the beginning of Sunday. And then Sunday night, the chance for rain is back. And next week, we have a bumpy forecast. Chance for rain most days. I'll show you that on your 7-day outlook ahead. Hey there, welcome back to The Loop. We brought Cassie Carlson in to talk about sports. Cassie, we're talking Bears, and we're also talking about Tristan Peters being a stud again and again and again and again.
Yeah, it's really impressive. We'll start with Bears because they're in Nashville right now for their second joint practice. This is really the final padded practice for the Bears before they have to make roster cuts on Sunday. There is a very quickened timeline this year because of the Rams 49ers game that takes place in Australia to start the season. They have to leave early. So what is usually cut down day on a Tuesday is happening on Sunday this year. So the Bears are in Nashville. They're going through their joint practice with the Tennessee Titans. They will have their final preseason game right here on Fox at 5 o'clock on Saturday evening. And then the front office and coaching staff, they're going to be busy because they have to get this roster down to 53 players. And so it's really the final opportunity for a lot of the fringe guys to make a case for why they should make this roster or the practice squad. And so a lot rides on this final week. I know Ben Johnson has said he wants to talk about the great stories that are in Hallis Hall right now of all these players trying to prove themselves rather than talking about players who haven't been on the field yet so far this training camp. And there are a lot of good stories when talking about people like Caden Davis, someone who is an undrafted free agent, played a little bit in the NFL, got cut, and is now played in the UFL, now trying to make this roster. And he is someone who has flashed all of training camp. We'll see if there's a roster spot for him, but it's a stressful time for a lot of these players. Their livelihoods depend on it. And so Sunday's going to be an emotional day.
That is for sure. You know, after just a couple of preseason games already, we got the last one coming up. Who do you think needs to keep on showing up the way they have, and who do you think needs to maybe step it up here?
Well, I think if you're looking at for what could potentially play into the regular season, everyone is still keeping an eye out for the left tackle battle because it is a position that has been a competition for the last 2 years in training camp. And while there's been a rotation of players, and I think it is Braxton Jones's job to lose at this point, I don't think Ben Johnson feels fully confident in Braxton Jones to hold down the blind side of Caleb Williams. And he said it's a hot spot for them this year, and they're still looking for someone to fully take control of that spot. What are they looking for? They're looking for someone who can pass protect one-on-one. They need to know that Caleb Williams, who his sack numbers were down tremendously last year compared to his rookie season, is going to be upright, and that will allow them to have an explosive passing game that they want to have with all those weapons on the outside. Unfortunately, we saw Braxton Jones get the reps with the ones in the last preseason game, and he got called for a holding penalty, and penalties just put you behind the sticks, and it makes it hard to get an offense going. And we saw that happen in real time with multiple then incompletions coming out of that, and what turned into a 3rd and 20 situation that ended up in an incompletion to Roma Dunze. And so there's been a rotation there between Braxton Jones. Theo Benedict got thrown into the mix. He's probably your swing tackle, which means he can play left and right if someone goes down. I think it's going to come down to Karan Amagaji and Jedrick Wills of if they're even going to make this team. And Amagaji is a local product who got drafted in the 3rd round a couple years ago. Injuries have really held him back, and he hasn't amounted to what Ryan Poles was projecting when they did draft him. And Jedrick Wills is a former 1st rounder who hasn't played in 2 seasons because of a knee injury. And there's just a lot of inconsistency there from both of them. And then I thought it was interesting that Ben Johnson pointed out the other hot spot is safety because Kobe Bryant goes down for 4 to 6 months. They're really hoping that their safety, who they brought in free agency, coming off of winning a Super Bowl, is going to be available for them at the end of the year, especially if they are to make the playoffs. But who is going to slide in and play next to Dylan Thieneman right now? You're probably looking at Cam Lewis and Xavier Woods. Both of them are veterans. For Cam Lewis, it's a little bit out of position for him. And for Xavier Woods, you want to make sure he's healthy and full go. So those are 2 positions that I'm looking at right now. You could also point to running back Roshan Johnson, Savon Ahmed. We talked to special teams coordinator Richard Hightower yesterday, and he's like, a lot of the way for these players who are on the fringe to get on the roster is to perform on special teams and prove that they can be an asset there. And so that's what I'm going to be looking out for in this final preseason game.
So we have to wait a couple weeks until the regular season starts, but boy, we don't have to wait to watch the White Sox.
No,
this is so fun, Cassie.
It is really fun, and I think it's the culmination of the White Sox, the Cubs, the Bears. Like, everyone talks about 2008 and what it was like when the Cubs and White Sox were both in the playoff race, but the Bears weren't good back then. That was coming off of their Super Bowl appearance a couple seasons later, and I think they had already gone downhill. And so to have all 3 of them doing well at the same time is really unheard of in this city. So I think that week 1, it's going to be so insane in this city, just what we're seeing. But we have to talk about Tristan Peters, and I wrote down all of the accolades that we have seen from him so far this season. The most notable being 5 straight games where he hits a home run, which matched a club record set by 7 different players. Now, Munetaka Murakami actually also set that record or matched it this year. Paul Konerko, A.J. Brzezinski, Frank Thomas, some of the names who have also joined join that club. And it's just an incredible story for Tristan Peters, who is playing his first full season. He came over in a trade for cash considerations, basically meaning no one had any expectations for him. He then makes the All-Star game. He played with the Savannah Bananas, and he actually used, I think in a fan game, used a banana bat. So they're calling him Banana Bonds right now. But he is the only player in MLB history with 6 RBI in a game, getting on base 5 times in a game, 5 straight games with a home run, hitting for a cycle, a grand slam, and a walk-off homer. It's pretty impressive and incredible what we're seeing for someone who is playing again in his first full season and was traded for cash consideration.
And all of those things that you just listed, we need to get to more paper here.
I know, my paper pad, I wrote it all down because I was like, this is incredible. I don't want to forget any of the accolades. And I know that Jerry Reinsdorf rewarded him for hitting for the cycle with a ring. It was all blinged out and it had some significant meaning to it. Like baseball is a tough sport. You get called down, you get called up, you're moving all over the place, living in these small towns, and to see someone get rewarded for, I guess, the determination and sticking with it on this type of stage, and then contributing to a team that leads the AL Central and has playoff hopes and expectations to do something in the postseason is really incredible.
Beautiful. Cassie, thank you so much for coming on The Loop today.
Thanks, Lauren.
All right, we'll be right back. Welcome back. Hundreds are dead and more than 1,300 people are missing. That includes 700 foreigners from 24 countries, including the U.S. Bala Gemire, the president of Nepali Cultural Center in Chicago, is joining us now live to talk about how we can help here at home. Thank you so much for joining us today.
You're welcome.
First of all, yeah, what are you hearing from people on the ground there? I just can't imagine. You know, we see that video and it looks like it's out of a movie.
It's just like a movie. We got shocked. It was very bad, and it's Nepal history. One of the biggest thing happened. It's really hard to do the rescue there because it's small places between the hillside. So there they cannot bring really big helicopter, and many helicopters they cannot go at a time. So. Yeah, it's a tough. Still, people are trapping, people are missing. We don't know the casualty or how many number of people dead or those things. We haven't have a number yet.
Do you know what the biggest need on the ground there is right now? Is it water? Is it food? Is it supplies?
I think everything needed there because of everything is washed away. So people need to to rescue every people, the trapped people. We have to find out the people where they trap, how that they're doing, government doing best they can, but they still need a lot of things there.
For people who are watching this happen right before our eyes here and people who feel compelled to help, what is the biggest thing, the most important thing that we can do here in Chicago to help these people dealing with this?
As a community leader in Chicago, Nepali community leader, I request each and everyone, please help us on dollar amount. We are on the big fundraising efforts starting from today. So the Nepali Culture Center Chicago, there is the GL number, there the address to mail the check, and then the name going to be Nepali Culture Center Chicago. Please help us dollar amount. They need really need help on the rebuild those, because there are like about 20 bridges gone. Their whole villages washed out. A lot of people died. Whoever people survived there, we need them rebuild and reorganize those places. So need a dollar amount. I'll request each and everyone, please donate the money on Nepali Culture Center Chicago.
And really quickly before we let you go, in just a sentence or two, what does that dollar amount turn into? How does that turn into help?
The money we're going to raise, and we're going to send it to the government accounts, the Prime Minister accounts, and then the Prime Minister, the government going to distribute the money, or how the way they're going to manage, the way they will manage.
All right, we are thinking about all of this.
And then we all, one last thing I want to tell you, that all Nepalese in Chicago, all organizations and leaders, we come together and then we're doing the fundraising in one place. Please help us on Nepali Culture Center Chicago. Send us your place.
Just so devastating and so sad. Of course, we are thinking about all of the people impacted, both near and far. Thank you so much for joining us today.
You're welcome. Thank you for your help.
Absolutely. We also want to talk about this because the FAA is investigating another plane tire blowout at O'Hare International Airport. Now, this is the 5th time that it's happened in just the last month. So joining us now to talk about it, we have an aviation expert and attorney joining us live, Robert Clifford. Thank you so much for being here.
Happy to be here. Good afternoon.
Yeah, just talk to us about how dangerous this is.
Well, it's really dangerous, and if the FAA doesn't take immediate action, something bad is going to happen, and American lives will be at risk. These 5 incidents indicate that there's a real, either A, maintenance problem, or B, a product preservation problem with the tires. What I think is happening, and what my experts tell me is happening, is that the airline operators, in this instance, American and United, are being allowed to extend the life of these tires, and that they're doing a poor job of inspecting them. They're doing a poor job of inflating them. And someone will look at it and they'll say, oh, this tire isn't worn out yet. We can get a little bit more use out of it. Well, that's money, and that goes to the bottom line of their profitability. And so they're skimping on safety, and ultimately American lives are at risk, and someone's going to get hurt. And the FAA needs, which by the way has not been doing a particularly good job of protecting the American public. You just need to look to Washington, D.C. and also Louisville and other places. They need to be doing a better job of overseeing the airline operators to protect the traveling public, because there are only 3 things that maybe are happening here: underinflation, poor inspection, getting too much out of these tires, or there might be something on the runway, but that's the least likely of what's causing these blowouts.
It sounds like the biggest thing that you want to see is the FAA taking action. So if you can kind of provide like a checklist of things that you would want to see them doing, what would it be?
They need to immediately review the maintenance practices for the tires. That's number one. That would include the inspections of the tires and the wear and tear on the tires, and set minimum levels of the amount of rubber that still needs to be on those tires before they take them out and replace them. That's one. 2, they need to take a look at their inflation practices, how they inflate the tires, and whether or not they're doing the proper job there. there, or are they being asleep at the wheel? You know, when you drive your car and it tells you that you got a low tire on the left front, it's got 34 pounds of pressure, and the other side has, 28. Well, those things matter, and they matter as it relates to airplanes. And so the FAA needs to look at the practices here, and the fact that it's American and United tells you that there's something across the board that is getting under the FAA's radar, that the airlines are getting away with, that they're skipping the cost of maintenance or they're skipping the cost of replacement parts, and that will jeopardize the traveling public. You know, these airlines say, our safety of our passengers is first and foremost. Well, put up or shut up, because they're not doing it. And the reality is that they will do everything they can to cut their costs, to cut corners, and we're the ones, the traveling public, that are in risk and in jeopardy of loss of life.
And what happens when a tire blows? I mean, what's going on in the cockpit? Can the pilot tell right away what's going on for all of the people who are taking? Okay, yeah, tell me a little bit more.
Yeah, the experienced pilots absolutely know what's going on, and there are sensors that tell them that there are issues associated with tire inflation, tire integrity, and so, kudos to the pilots who are typically pretty well trained, well prepared, and doing the best they can to protect their passengers. This one is on the companies. This one is on how they train those maintenance people. Are they doing a good enough job of teaching them how to properly inflate these tires? Are they doing a good enough job of teaching them how to inspect the tires to make sure that they're still good for use, or they got to go in the debris pile and be replaced? And again, these are very expensive parts, right? And so if they can get, somebody can eke another month of use out of it, they think they're cutting costs. Well, maybe they are cutting costs, but while they cut costs, they're also further putting the traveling public at risk.
All right, Robert Clifford, I've got more questions, but we've got to leave it there. Thank you so much for joining us today on The Loop.
See you next time.
All right, see you then. We're going to take a quick break, and we will be right back. Thanks for staying with us.
Earn more.
Hey, welcome back to The Loop. We've got just a couple minutes left. Let's get one more check of the weather before we go.
All right, it's going to be a really nice day. We're starting off, though, looking at the loop of the satellite radar. And you can see how these clouds have been bubbling up. And I want to point out that green that you see in the center of your map. We have the potential for some sprinkles out there. What you're seeing, most of that isn't reaching the ground, but don't be surprised if you see a few sprinkles out there. Most of us are going to stay dry today. Temperatures are in the upper 70s and low 80s currently. Highs are going to be in the low 80s with a cooling trend for lakeside locations because of that breeze. Your 7-day forecast, 82 degrees and beautiful tomorrow. This weekend, Saturday dry at 82. Then the chance for some wet weather is back Saturday night and early Sunday. And then next week, scattered showers Monday through Wednesday. Temperatures, though, going to be the main headline as we push to the upper 80s on Sunday through Wednesday of next week. So summer is really holding on into next week. And in the meantime, today, it is going to be a lovely one. Maybe go treat yourself and get we were just talking pumpkin spice something or other.
Ooh, an iced one.
Beverage.
Yeah, yeah, that sounds good. And the rest of the week, I see us flirting with 90. Okay, that 89, I like it.
Leading hard on the above normal temperatures. That's going to be for the first week and a half or so we expect of next month, which we are going to be bringing in fall officially next month. What are you going to do for the rest of the day to enjoy? 81 degrees, perfect.
You have influenced me. I think I'm also going to get a coffee.
Yes.
I think I'm going to have to.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Yeah,